What's going on, everybody? This is Raw Dog Sports. I am Mike. That is Evo. My motto, fuck lotto. I'll get the 7 digits from your mother for $1 tomorrow. What's going on, everybody? I am ready. The off season is here. I'm actually having a beer this evening. Crazy last few weeks. We did not do the show last night. Evo, your lady is recovering from surgery. Good to hear that she's doing well, but my man, how are you doing? Welcome into the show. I know things have been crazy around your life as well. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. The wife had some surgery, so I've been the butler for the past 24. Well, we'll go closer to 36 hours, which very happy to do. Happy to help support her and everything. So a lot of waking up in the middle of the night to give assistance and things like that, going to the bathroom and everything. So I've been spotty with the sleep, but I'm feeling good. I think she's feeling good with some of the medications, still hurting, but everything's going good there. And that honestly has helped fill the void that is the NFL offseason right now, because not having the best sport in the world on the weekends is pretty tough. I know a lot of people are going through it. Yes, we have the Olympics going on and we've got, baseball starting up and things like that. It's just still not the same without football on. It's a little bit sad. So we're here. This is a safe space to come talk about how sad it is to not have football on, because we're going to talk about football in general and sports in general to try to ease the gap between now and next week when football's going again, because we got the motherfucking scouting combine. Isn't it a beautiful thing?
It most certainly is, man. The Combine is one of the premier events. It's one of my favorite events. We've done a lot of different things in the past. We've kind of gone and watched the Combine. I believe we did a watch along at one point, or watched a couple of things. And then, obviously we break down all the stuff from the Combine. We talk about some of the metrics that we care about. But honestly, I'm just going to kind of let it out. I'm going to the fucking Combine, and I'm going to be going as credentialed media. So I'm going to have an opportunity to hopefully do a lot of really fucking cool shit. Thank you to Jeremy Green for the opportunity. I'm going to be meeting Jeremy again. He was on our show not too long ago. Met him down in Mobile. Appreciate the opportunity. Can't wait to get out there and see what the fuck the Combine's all about, man. I'm pumped.
Yeah, that's super awesome. I'm extremely jealous. I had given serious considerations of trying to find a way to get out there. It's just life's so hectic right now. I've got the surgery that just happened and don't want to leave the wife a week after it, where, it's multiple week recovery thing. Got spring break coming up too with the boys here real soon. Court stuff along with that. Got all sorts of stuff going on in the very short term. That obviously takes a little bit more precedence because family always comes first. But I am extremely jealous that you're getting to go down there as credentialed media, getting to see everything that's going on. It's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, we tried to get credentials. We applied for our own down in Mobile. That was a nope. But I was able to get down there. I basically had the same access. And actually, I think that they accidentally sent me the link for the media thing that got me into the speakeasy, which was super dope, by the way.
I was going to say, I got that email and I was like, quick, shoot this off to you real quick, just in case.
Yeah. Which was cool. It was really, really cool. But man, now getting that opportunity for real is going to be it's exciting, and hopefully I don't fuck it up.
No, I don't know that you can fuck it up unless you start acting like some Snoopy asshole media member or something like that.
Right.
It's
not really in my repertoire. I can be a little bit of a dick, but
sure. We all can be dicks, but it's a little different if you go and try to get gotcha pieces or something like that. And that's not really our style. We want information, we like to get as much information as possible, insider information, which is essentially we are lifting up the skirts some insider information potentially by having you out there at the combine, and getting eyes out there on the field on the underwear Olympics. But I don't think you're going to be going up to, someone with a team and asking them a very pointed question or something like that. You're not going to go up and be like, Robert Kraft, how close were you with Epstein?
Yeah.
I don't
I would not ask that question.
I don't
not in that scenario, anyways.
Yeah, I don't expect that to happen. It's just, it's interesting. Obviously, we should probably make minor comment on it here. Not a super political show. We have another show for that to talk. But obviously, the Epstein files have come out. There's been more and more information linking basically everybody.
Everyone. Yeah. The entire fucking government.
If you check out the Raw Dog Sports Facebook page, we do have an infographic on there of how many times each NFL team was mentioned somehow, way, shape, or form, connections in the files. And yeah, Robert Kraft was in there a little bit, and I think that might have been part of the reason why they actually didn't win the Super Bowl. Because if you think about it, Seattle, they're fans, they're known as the 12. Robert Kraft heard that, got distracted, and didn't put enough focus into the team. So that's a potential reason why they did not do as well in the Super Bowl as they should have. But that's enough Epstein jokes for the day. Enough Epstein commentary. I just, once again, we're not on the list. So that means one or two things. Like either we're not cool enough to be on a list somehow, or we're just two good dudes.
Probably both. I'm going to go with at this point right now.
Yeah.
Now, but it is what it is. By the way, I've been seeing that the best way to refer to these people are the PDF files. That way your videos don't get flagged for saying, the other word.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. We're still hiding it, YouTube?
I think everyone's still trying to maybe let's not say that the entire government is out there fucking kids. But, yeah.
Expect the worst.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, man, we have got a hell of a show today because we're just kind of spitballing, guys. We're going to wing it. And it's because with the off season, things kind of come at you hot and heavy. We took basically a week off. We didn't do 2 shows last week. So we got some stuff to go back over. We're going to catch back up to some of the things that are going on right now. We're going to talk mostly NFL, but I know for me, one thing that we have got to get into at some point is the Olympics, specifically the cheating ass Canadians. But my man, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go next? Should we give the people a little bit of football and then maybe interweave some different things?
Yeah, we'll jump back and forth. Now, I do want to say a big win for Team USA today did happen in the Olympics.
Banger.
Men's hockey beat Sweden. Big win there. Fucking love it. Another Olympic and semi-football related, because we did just have the Super Bowl, and obviously we had some commentary about the halftime shows. Lauded and super notable, reputable source, Babylon Bee, did put out a completely non-satirical article about how after the success of the TPUSA halftime show, that TPUSA is actually also going to do an all-American Olympics, and it's just going to be Kid Rock curling constantly. So I'm really looking forward to that in 4 years from now, because that'll be a lot of fun.
The only curling I expect to see out of Kid Rock would be some fucking 12-ounce curls.
Hey, apparently he's out there curling with RFK, getting it after it in the gym.
Maybe
this is getting way too political, way too political, way too quick. Wrong show.
Wrong show. All right, let's talk a little bit of football because let's go back. Let's talk Dolphins. Dolphins blew their shit up this week. Tyreek Hill gone. Bradley Chubb gone. I think there was another receiver gone as well, right? Or
there's at least 3 people that they dropped: Tyreek Hill, Bradley Chubb, and I believe Nick Westbrook Akine.
Yeah, that's
how you say his name. Guard James Daniels released, and Minka Fitzpatrick, as of today, is on the trade block.
Yeah, so they're hitting reset. with all of this, like, you know, that some of the cap issues are going to be just impossible with the dead money from Bradley Chubb. The dead money. I don't know that there's a ton of dead money left with Tyreek Hill, but I know that there's a shitload of dead money left with fucking Bradley Chubb. You have the money from Tua. How are they going to kind of work to build a team? Like, they're setting up for the ultimate tank next year. I don't know how they're going to compete. I mean, obviously the draft is coming up. They can get better, but they're going to be in such a salary cap strapped situation with all of the dead money. I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, so just pulled it up. It was a $28.2 million dead cap hit for Tyreek Hill this year. However, did still net them $22.9 million in relief. So overall, a decent move, especially for a guy who just dislocated his knee and tore his ACL. It's pretty much writing on the wall. I think that he'll probably end up going back to KC or something like that. Just calling that out right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, they are got a new GM, new head coach. They are Midwest guys from the Green Bay Packers organization. They're trying to bring that brand down to Miami. Miami's not known for that. They obviously sold the ownership that, hey, we are going to do a hard reset here. It is going to be painful. You have to give us several years to accomplish what we want to do. And this is kind of the first step. Look, I applaud Miami for doing what they're doing, because in a league where they expect immediate results, having an ownership group that will stand behind a coach and a GM in a front office and allow them to do the shitty thing, which is not try to rebuild a roster and keep them competitive really quick, but really just wipe clean slate, try to build in the draft and try to make good contract moves. It's not something that you see very often. It's what's plagued a lot of franchise for a long time. So them doing this, it's setting themselves up to get a fresh slate, a good foundation. You're talking about Tyreek Hill, who, while he can be one of the most dynamic receivers in the league, he is over 30, coming off a severe injury, and is just not worth the money anymore. Bradley Chubb obviously is a good player, but he's very expensive. And right now, you can't really afford to have super expensive players on your roster while you're rebuilding, because they're essentially going to be a waste. If you're not going to have a good team, why have one or two good players that are just wasting your money that you could be investing elsewhere to kind of get a good stable foundation on your roster? So I get what they're doing. I applaud them for it, and really the ownership for doing that. But it's going to be tough for Miami fans for a little bit. And we know that more things are about to fall here. I mean, Minka probably is going to get traded, and he's probably not going to get traded for a ton, just because his production has gone down some. Yeah, fourth, fifth, maybe something like that, because of the contract that he has and because his play has declined a little bit.
He's what, 32, 33 years old?
I'm not positive, but
hold on.
Either way,
I'll get it up.
And the biggest, shoe to drop still is going to be Tua. How they navigate that, because
man, he's younger than I thought. He's only 29.
Yeah. Either way, I see no way that Tua.
I feel like.
Yeah, it's been a while. But yeah, with Tua, you have to assume he's going to be gone here sooner than later. And where the organization wants to kind of pivot from there is going to be interesting. I guess you kind of have a baked-in guy who can take a snap in Quinn Ewers. Zach Wilson is a free agent, so they will need to look for other quarterback competition there. Unless Jeff Hafley and I forget their new GM's name, but obviously from the Packers organization, unless they think that they really have a shoe in to get Malik Willis down there. I don't know what the quarterback situation is going to look like. And if I'm Malik, while I would like to go play for a coach that I know and under a GM that I know, and they're probably going to pay me at least market value, maybe a little bit more because they're desperate. I don't know that in basically what is now my second chance to try to be a starter in this league, that I want to go into an organization that is in 100% rebuild mode when it's going to be a good market for him this year.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up now on what their cap is going to look like going into this with all of the moves, but I don't know if Sport Track has updated everything. so I'm not going to worry about it. But yeah, listen, getting Malik Willis would be really good for them. I just don't know how they're going to afford to do that. Like, that's what I was trying to find how much salary cap they're going to have. Because, I mean, there are people talking about Malik Willis commanding $30+ million, which he looked really good in a few games. That's the Sam Darnold type money. You can, continue to build a team around that and compete. But man, $30 million for a guy that started 6 games or played in 6 games, something like that. That's really tough. And Miami, are they really going to dump your future again that quickly into a quarterback that you're not certain of? Like, because you're in cap hell. So because you're going to have to give Malik at least 3 years. I don't think anybody's going to be able to get him for 2. He's the only quarterback out on the market.
Yeah.
Unless you want to go to fucking Kirk Cousins route. But who's signing up for Kirk Cousins if you can get Malik Willis for 3?
I would say my Vikings would consider it. I think Malik Willis is going to start to price himself out here. So if we look at the Daniel Jones contract last year, and the league always looks at these trends and they're going to say, okay, Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones both just hit the market. They both had really good years. They both got relatively, cheap contracts. We can still get these guys, like a Malik Willis, look for the next one of those situations and get them on a better deal than a normal starter, but they're still going to be paying more than what you would expect for a backup. So Daniel Jones is like the rock bottom floor of what you should expect, which I believe is like 10, 15 million a year. I think Malik's probably going to get offered 20 to 25 a year at this point, because worst case, you've got a built-in really good backup quarterback at that point, based off of what he showed us last year and the year before to some extent. So they're going to get paid a little bit more. And a Kirk Cousins, I think he's going to be real picky and choosy with this situation. And for once in his career, it might not be about the money. If you bring Kirk Cousins in, that he can come in and probably be your starter. I look a lot at my Minnesota Vikings. Obviously, there's a connection there, and he would be a good competition for JJ McCarthy. And he might just straight up beat him out just because the coaching staff is fighting for their jobs and wants a guy that they know can go in there and produce. He might not be high end, but they know that he can go in there and produce, and they don't have to deal with the ebbs and flows of a young quarterback at the time. But with Kirk coming to Minnesota, it would be all about the money, and it would probably be on a 1-year deal because the guy is not young. I mean, he's 37, 38 years old. He's not going to want to go to a Jets that this is just a bad organization. He's got a year or 2 left in the league. He's going to want to go to a team that's really ready to compete, to allow him to have a good shot at being a starter. It's really about his priorities at this point, because he can obviously just hang him up and go and be a broadcaster based off of what he did this offseason or in the postseason. So it depends on the team, really. I mean, there's a lot of teams out there that are going to be looking for starters. Very well could be the Arizona Cardinals, obviously the Jets, the Dolphins, just to name a few. So there's going to be a market for these couple of guys that have, the capability to go in and just kind of be plug and play starters. But do you want someone that's younger with a little bit more longevity that you're going to have to pay more money for? Or do you want someone like a Kirk Cousins where it's probably going to be a 1-year deal and maybe you're paying him 15 to 20, maybe? It really depends.
Yeah. Well, listen, I've seen projections as high as like $30 million for Malik Willis annually.
Yeah.
And that's way too high. Listen, I like I said, I think he's a good player. He's really kind of developing. But to give him 30 mil, leaving Green Bay, say what you want, LaFleur has done a really nice job up there. I mean, he makes Jordan Love look serviceable as fuck. So I don't know how much faith I have that Malik is going to continue. Like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it will go. It'll depend on where he would go. But he's not going to want to go to the Jets.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I looked a little bit too here into the Miami cap situation. It looks like over the cap is relatively up to date. The only guy they don't have any actual movement on yet is Bradley Chubb. Now, if they cut him a pre-June 1st, it's kind of a modest saving. It takes them up to right now. They have $3 million, just over $3 million in cap space. If they cut him pre-June 1st, it takes him up to $10 million. If they cut him as a post-June 1st cut, that's actually where they make a decent amount of money. It gains them $20 million right there. So they're at $23 million cap space. So I would have to assume that they're probably looking at a post-June 1st cut for him. And, Minka, depending on what ends up happening there, is going to net them another 6 to 7 million if he's traded. I don't think he'll be cut. But they're going to have to do some interesting stuff with the books because of Tua. Because again, I don't see there's any way that he's going to stay there. You cut him pre-June 1st, it's a $99 million cap hit, like immediately off the bat. You cut him post-June 1st, it's 67 million, which is still ungodly to deal with.
When you got 23 million in cap space, yeah. So Tua is going to be on the squad next year.
Yeah, that's the thing is I don't see any way that they kind of roll forward with him, but you almost have to keep him there for at least one more year and then make him a post-June 1st cut because no one's trading for him.
Is there any, there's got to be something. Obviously, they're starting in complete dump mode, right? They're tank mode. Get rid of every fucking thing that we can as fast as we can to reset this. At a certain point, they're not that dead cap is going to be prohibitive for at least this year. They can't. There's no way that I can imagine and let the Bradley Chubb deal. That's the only one. If it's post June 1, you get 23 million, but then the only thing that you could do is maybe go out and sign a Malik Willis. You're not going to have a lot of room to do other things. You trade Minka, okay, that opens up 6 more. They have cut so many guys. Obviously, they're going to draft guys, but I think that they're in a really, really bad spot. I don't know how they're going to make the cap work. But
the cap is a myth.
That's a myth. Yeah, I know.
There's always a way, but I wouldn't expect them to be competitive in year 1. This isn't going to be a Vrabel turnaround situation like you did up in New England. This is going to be a lot more like pulling teeth for a little bit and really having to make smart decisions. And we'll see if this new group there is able to do it.
They got an uphill battle. That is for sure. But with that, man, let's hop back. Let's go. Let's talk Canada. Let's talk Olympics. These cheating ass Canadians and cheating in one of the most why the fuck are you cheating at this type of sport? Curling. I don't know if dude's first name, but Kennedy is his last name from Canada, is a real douchebag. He has sullied the reputation of Canadians everywhere by making Canadians seem like they're not cool and complete douchebags when they have historically been known as nice as fuck. He essentially tried to blame the Swedes for catching him cheating. It's just a whole litany of not taking accountability that you're a piece of shit and you were cheating in the Olympics.
Yeah, the fact that he kind of had his little spat at the end of it all.
Fuck you, I didn't. Yeah,
like a true Canadian would be like, "Oh no, I didn't do that, you hoser. Oh, you're you gonna suck on my maple syrup nozzle, bud." Not just dropping straight cursing.
Yeah, I went straight to the F-bomb. I was like, geez, guy, this is curling, not hockey. Fuck's sake.
Yeah. And even in hockey, I mean, they say the fun stuff. Like I just did there. They're fun about it with their shit talk. It's not just pure aggressive. Maybe the New York is bleeding into his part of Canada a little bit. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know, attitude.
Man.
But listen,
but fuck Canada.
Fuck Canada. Listen, I was not necessarily in favor of annexing Canada before, but now fuck Canada. We could just take that shit because this guy has ruined Canada for everybody. Not only that, the Canadian women were caught doing the same shit. The judge called it out and basically took a fucking stone off the board. I've been loving the Olympics. Now, I will again contend that the Winter Olympics are kind of fucking boring because there's very few actual competitions happening. Like everybody's racing a track or fucking something else. They're not racing other people per se.
Norwegians are running uphill in skis.
Yeah, okay. So that shit is crazy. That dude who like uphill, I would literally die. Like my heart would fucking explode trying to do what that man did.
I wouldn't even get that far. I like the first time I try to run in skis, I'm pointing a tip in the ground and going face first. Like not coordinated enough to be able to do that going uphill.
Yeah.
But it made me proud of my Norwegian heritage. Apparently he's got a little Viking blood in him to be able to run up hills. Someone just told him there's some English booty up there that he's got to go rape and pillage, and he's like, off we go.
Off to plunder we are, man. Mm-hmm. Honestly, and speaking of booty, the Olympics have been getting down. 10,000 condoms gone. Like fucking that. When we actually, producer Amber was surprised, did not understand the reference to start with. Apparently, neither did my mother-in-law. That's what they do at the Olympics, folks. If you're not aware, Olympic Village is for mingling, fucking, and then they go compete. That's literally it. They were supposed to be how many condoms did you tell me, Evo?
Yeah, they originally had ordered 300,000 condoms. Only 10,000 of them showed up, and they depleted those 10,000 extremely quick. I believe it was in like 2 days.
10,000 condoms in 2 days. There are not that many people. Like, they are fucking. So, congratulations to everybody at the Olympics on all of your accomplishments this week, no matter where they took place.
A lot of hog lines were crossed. A new term that I learned.
Yeah, hog line. Yeah, so apparently you can touch the stone, but you're not supposed to touch the stone part at all. You can only touch the handle. And you can touch it as many times as you want before the hog line, which is that green fucking line that you see on TV, folks. I learned this as well watching some of the Olympics. And as long as you do it before the hog line, it's fine. I don't know about at the hog line, on the hog line. I'm not hog line certified. All right. But I don't know how many more times I can shoehorn hog line into this. But they're cheaters. Canadians are cheaters. They deserve to get nothing. I hope that it blows up in their face and fuck Canada.
Bunch of dirty frostbacks. And, you know, it's okay. I get to say that I'm a Minnesotan.
Okay.
And
I was just like, I'm not sure if we're allowed to say that. Or...
Well, we'll find out from YouTube before too long. But yeah, look, that is the Olympics. I am unbelievably horny now because of the term touching stones and hog lines and the Olympic Village conversation. So that definitely is going to make it fun to jump into the rest of our conversations for the rest of the show. Up next here, kind of jump back into football stuff. Brian Flores back in the news, along with his kind of class action lawsuit with him and Steve Wilkes and Ray Horton. Their discrimination case against the NFL. It's going to continue on going forward. The NFL was saying that, or trying to argue that they should have to go through the NFL's arbitration process before it goes to the courts, which is obviously ass backwards. And the court decided, no, you're not going to have the league arbitrator look at a situation where you're trying to sue the league. That's going to be completely impartial. And so it is continuing on. But the big thing here is that for Brian Flores, who obviously was looked at as a potential head coaching candidate this year, this probably steps it even further into him not getting a head coaching job in the near future. His best opportunity, I think, would be kind of like I brought up before with the Minnesota Vikings if things really go topsy-turvy this year. But because this case is going forward, it is going to get litigated. It's probably going to go to a Supreme Court at some point in time because the NFL is going to leverage all their money into this and fighting this. It's going to go on for a while, and it's going to make, basically Brian Flores persona non grata as far as head coaching jobs go. So I kind of like that for my team. Go Brian Flores, do your thing, girl. But it is something to keep watching going forward because some of the stuff that has happened with obviously these African American coaches and the discrimination in the league, it's kind of nice to see the league actually get one taken to them for once.
Yeah, I agree, man. Like the league always wins. They're going to throw lawyers at this thing till the bitter end. And I agree that it will probably keep him from getting head coaching looks, which really sucks. I just the way that the NFL wanted to go about this, and I don't want to turn this into the political thing again, is just fucking ridiculous. Honestly, like you want to sue us, but we think that you should go through our arbitrator to decide if you should be allowed to sue us. That's literally, the U.S. government basically has to give you permission to be able to sue the U.S. government. Learned that recently. Thanks, Donald Trump. I didn't fucking know that. So what a insane fucking thing that the NFL tried to pull there. I mean, and listen, the NFL did kind of get one over this week, in my opinion. NFL won a case this week, a grievance against NFLPA for publishing the report cards. So now those are not going to be public. We're not going to get to talk report cards because we won't fucking know what's in them because the NFL doesn't want their dirty laundry getting aired out. They don't think it's fair. Oh, no.
Certain owners. Yeah, certain owners don't like it. The ones that continually look like shit for having bad facilities.
Jimmy Johnson, Jimmy Haslam.
Yeah. I'm sure you didn't hear these complaints from the Wilfs. I can tell you that. Look, JJ Watt, I'm going to paraphrase what he said, but yeah, it makes a ton of sense that you're going to block employees from calling out bullshit, giving reviews on your organization. Like that makes no fucking sense. You're taking away their freedom of speech, essentially, of saying this is how we think our workplace is working. It would be like your job saying, if you have a problem, you can't go to HR. Just internalize that shit. And if you go to HR, you're in trouble. Like that's, I'm pretty sure, illegal in the normal world.
I mean, I don't know. Honestly, at this point, like corporate world, who knows? Like they maybe pull a whole bunch of crazy shit.
Yeah.
I think it's bullshit. Obviously, this is done because certain people look bad. It's absurd. It should not be the case. We should be able to see these things. By the way, this also reminds me, talk about your salaries at work, folks. Make sure you're not getting fucked. It's not illegal. This is the same conversation here. This is the exact same thing. This is the employer telling you, don't talk about what you make. Don't talk about your work conditions. Don't talk about any of that shit. Just show up and do your fucking job. It's
especially don't talk to the union about it.
Yeah. Terrible.
Yeah. Very, very anti-union sentiment there. And a serious note for us, it is a bummer because we love going over those NFL report cards every year. I've absolutely loved it because my team's been near the top for pretty much every year I've been tracking it. But it's also fun to look at some of these organizations and say, well, maybe this is a reason why, this organization sucks. Or, wow, it's interesting that the Hunt family is rated so lowly. However, they still put up a championship style roster and team continually. So it's an interesting thing for us to talk about, and it sucks that we're not going to be able to have that opportunity anymore.
I really hope that they fight to get it back out there. That they will hopefully continue this case. I don't know if they will. I don't know if they can. If the NFL arbitrator is the one who gets to fucking decide if they can continue, I doubt we'll see any more of this.
And I'm sure that there would be a way that the NFL could try to put some sort of a gag order on this. But what's to say that a third-party reporting agency like Raw Dog Sports wouldn't go and talk to anonymous player X, Y, and Z from teams and have them fill out a report card somewhat the same as what the NFLPA did and publish that probably for profit. That would be a pretty cool thing for someone to do, even if it's not through the NFLPA. Obviously, the PA is probably a little bit more stringent on, making sure that they're talking to all the right players, not your bottom of the roster guys and stuff like that who are willing to talk. But, they're trying to hear from everybody. Whereas, an outside organization or whatnot, they might not be able to get, a full scope from everyone on the team. But I still think that there's a possibility that some sort of grades of teams can make their way out to the public. It'll just be interesting to see if anyone wants to undertake that.
I like that idea, and I'm thinking of this podcast that I know of. A couple fucking assholes that just let it rip. They have a whole segment where they make fun of not having sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it feels like that could be a group that maybe would have no problem publishing information that people don't like.
Look, at least one of those people is going to be in Indianapolis next week making some contacts.
He will be. Oh, man. Interesting. I'm going to have to find out some of the players who are in charge of, the PA and their teams.
Yeah, the PA reps from each of the teams.
Yeah, we're going to have to figure that out before I go over to Indy.
Yeah. Not that those players will necessarily be there, but yeah, you never know.
Hey, you never know. Listen, people show up, man. Like, guys randomly will go to shit. Puka might show up drunk. You never know.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And hey, Jeremy Green knows some agents and stuff like that. Look, these are just thoughts coming up, but like, go to the agents of these players and you say, hey, agent of player XYZ, would your player like to fill out an anonymous report card for, their team?
I actually have agent of player in my phone from Senior Bowl that I have not contacted yet, that I'm going to maybe contact while I'm in Indy. So we'll see what we can work out.
We probably need to talk to a lawyer about this first, but anyway.
Fuck it. Listen, if they sue us, they're suing the LLC. I got to tell you, we're not making any money
yet. Yeah. And we'll quickly have to switch and pivot and we'll become Raw Kitty Sports.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I feel like the demographic for that would drastically change. Oh, Raw Pussy Sports, baby.
Yeah. I mean, it's blocked here in Arizona, but we definitely would be on OnlyFans and Pornhub and all the tubes at that point.
All the tubes.
Get a lot of traffic. Some other news through the NFL. Mike Evans has come out, basically said he is going to come and return in 2026. He is going to be playing. However, it does not seem like he's going to be back with the Buccaneers unless they're able to come to some sort of an agreement on his contract. It would be weird watching him go to play for another team. We've seen it happen with other players. Jerry Rice obviously is one of the notable guys that kind of bounced around after San Fran a little bit. But all signs are kind of pointing towards him probably not playing for the Bucs this coming year unless he's able to take some sort of a team-friendly deal.
Yeah, I want Mike to keep playing. I want Mike to continue getting 1,000 yards. Like, I think he's a great player. I've had him in fantasy football several years, specifically just because he catches a fuckload of touchdowns. He's one of the better receivers probably of this last generation. I don't know that he gets the credit that he deserves, but in terms of consistency, like, obviously he's the gold standard, even with the injuries. Like, he still is always that guy that's going to show up and produce.
He's probably a top 20 player as far as production, and he's consistent with that production year in and year out.
Yeah, like, not seeing him as a Buck will be weird. I hope they figure it out. Also, Baker kind of needs a guy that can just go down there and win a jump ball. That, like, it's always been kind of one of his things. Like, he wants to let it eat. So he needs a guy like a Mike Evans. So it would be, I think, in both of their best interest to get a deal done. Will that happen? No idea.
Yeah. Another player who's kind of announced that they aren't going to be coming back, dealing with your Browns, Wyatt Teller announced he will not be coming back to the Browns and will explore his options in free agency this offseason. some dip in play from Wyatt Teller. Obviously, he was a huge part of that offensive line for several years there in Cleveland, but he will be hitting that free agent market.
Yeah, he and David Njoku came out and announced that will be not returning to the Browns. Losing Wyatt sucks, man. I love Wyatt Teller. I mean, he's been so good for so long. The 7 years he's been here, he's been fucking fantastic. This last year was not great. I mean, he's had moments. When they started rotating in Tevin Jenkins and all that at the end of the year, the writing was kind of fucking on the wall. Like they're not playing this guy for no reason. They're kind of giving him a trial, and they blamed it on an injury. And I mean, the way the team was managed at the end of the year was just fucking fiasco. But that problem's down in Atlanta now. Losing David Njoku sucks because I think that he would have been a really great piece to continue to keep around with Fannin. Njoku came into the league as not a very good blocker, but has really progressed into an above average run blocker. Like him being our inline guy and letting Harold Fannin be, that fucking the move tight end would have been fantastic. I would have loved to see that. It wasn't in the cards. I think the Browns are also going to be here in a little bit of a reset mode with some potential money kicked down the line in terms of when cuts happen, because Bitonio is going to retire. Guys are going to move on. We're going to have to probably restructure a couple of guys, including Deshaun Watson. I don't know what the fuck that's going to look like. I want that money off the books as fast as possible.
I was going to say, you guys have done so many little restructures with him and stuff like that. I don't know how far that can be kicked down the road anymore.
I don't know either, man, but I feel like they can do it at least one more time, and they might have to field a capable well, fuck, man. I mean, we're going to have so many draft picks this year, though, and we're going to draft offensive line heavy because now with Wyatt Teller announcing that he's not coming back and everything that's going on, we have no fucking offensive line. All 5 starters are hitting free agency or retiring. So we needed a whole brand new reset. We're going to be drafting heavy offensive line. We'll be in free agency. I think Tevin Jenkins will probably have one of those positions locked up at right guard, considering that that's where he was playing at the end. But it's wild times here in Cleveland. A lot of reset, a lot of turnover coming.
Yeah, for sure. Another player who may or may not be back with their former team, one that I'm definitely watching because he's a guy that we've talked about here a lot, someone that I really would love to see on my Vikings, Kenneth Walker. The team basically has come out and said in Seattle, they're not going to be placing the franchise tag on him, not going to be placing the transition tag on him, which means his contract is up. He's due to become a free agent. Now, he was obviously trying to negotiate a contract with a drunk GM during the parade, but that didn't happen. No movement yet on Kenneth Walker. They're going to be prioritizing trying to extend JSN, bring back some other guys, which that is kind of part of the league, is that running backs are lower on the totem pole because they're viewed as more like dime a dozen. But if a Kenneth Walker hits free agency, I think he immediately skyrockets to being number 1 or number 2 on the free agent list of running backs out there, with Breece Hall being the only other guy that's really competing with him. But Kenneth Walker, with how he played in this
far and away, will outpace Breece Hall.
And that's the way that I kind of view it, and why he's a guy that I would love to go after, because even with him being the top running back possibly in this market, it's still a reasonable contract for these guys. It's not like 10 years ago where if you pay a guy $12 million a year to $15 million a year, you're like insane for doing that. Running backs, top end running backs, can get around that range, and they are still considered relatively cheap. I love Kenneth Walker. I love his production. I think that, despite being under some heavy cap constraints right now, that the Vikings would be smart to take a look at him. I think a lot of teams would be really smart to look at this guy. And I think it would be a failure on Seattle's part to let him walk out the door. Franchise tag, probably not worth it at the $14.5 million range, but like he's a huge part of your offense. You saw how the offense looked with him out there through that playoff run. And Zach Charbonnet, while he's a very good running back, just tore his ACL.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to get him back for a while, and you don't know if he's going to be the same. You might as well get yourself an insurance policy there. And with as much cap as Seattle has, I think it would be silly for them to let him walk out the door.
I absolutely agree. The fact that he's not getting tagged, they're going to be talking. They have got to be talking. He obviously wants to stay. I mean, he's 25 years old. This is where he gets his big contract. If he stays in Seattle, I don't know if he gets a big contract, but I mean, why would you not want to stay in Seattle, especially after winning the Super Bowl, how young the team is, the fucking no cap constraints, like everything is tailor-made for Kenneth Walker to stay and have a fucking fantastic career as long as he still gets his touches. And I think that's kind of where you start to question if he does decide to go back. Now, you talked about your team going and getting him. My question for you is, how much are you willing to pay him to get him? Are you going to pay him 15 mil Derrick Henry money to bring that guy in? Because, I mean, 25 years old. I mean, he's got a good 4 or 5 years before that's the end of it, right? Like, this is the prime time for running backs. How much are you willing to pay?
I think that's somewhere in that $12 to $15 million range for a 3-year contract. With about half of it guaranteed is where I'd feel comfortable with. Now, it's obviously very contingent on the Vikings cap situation. I believe after the next thing that we're going to talk about here, Patrick Mahomes restructuring, the Vikings might have like the worst cap situation currently in the NFL. However, cash over cap and their ability to restructure contracts, they're actually like third in the league. They can gain $100 million in cap just from some restructures on the team. They're obviously not going to do all of that. And there's several players that are very high cut candidates that's going to provide them a bunch of relief. But depending on how many moves Rob Brzezinski, the interim non-GM, is willing to do this offseason to get compliant with the cap and see how aggressive the team wants to get in free agency, will kind of tell us what we're looking at here. And I really think a lot of that stuff, those things are going to start to happen here within the next week while everyone is out there in Indianapolis. You have the GMs, the front offices, the head coaches, and all the agents out there. That's where the mingling really starts to happen, which is another reason why I'm so excited for you to get out there, possibly you got to get yourself into St. Elmo's just to try apparently like this $100 shrimp cocktail that'll like blow your tits off with how spicy
Producer
it is.
Hamburger fucking perks up $100. What, motherfucker?
They're famous for their shrimp cocktail. It is expensive, but apparently it's like the best in the world. And also you can step around outside back and see where Mark Sanchez got stabbed. It's great content, but you also know there's going to be a lot of NFL personalities there, people from these teams, and you might be able to overhear some stuff, obviously. But it is a mingling ground, much like Olympic Village, for NFL teams. They're going to be out there talking, starting to tamper. It's absolutely going to be happening because free agency is right around the corner. And that's where I think we'll start to see some of these things fall into place where some players will be cut by teams. Some players will receive restructures from teams or extensions from teams. And that'll start to kind of build the field as we move into free agency, how teams are going to move. I think the Vikings are going to re-sign Brian O'Neill, which is probably going to provide them at least $10 million cap relief. You're talking about they could restructure Justin Jefferson or Christian Darrisaw right now and gain themselves somewhere around like 40, 50 mil from doing that, which those are two foundational players. You don't want to restructure a guy unless you really view him as someone that is going to be with your team for a while, because you are pushing a lot of that money down the road, which is why it sucks when you have to do it with like a Deshaun Watson and stuff like that, because you are committing a lot of money to this player and guaranteeing stuff and things like that further down the line, which is difficult to deal with. But the Vikings have a lot of avenues to actually get cap compliant. Somewhere in the $20 to $30 million range, I think, is where you're going to fall. And they have two major things that they know they're going to have to go after. And that's a quarterback of some sort. And that could absolutely drive the well. And then probably one additional position, which could be anything from a running back, another offensive lineman playing center or something like that, linebacker depth, cornerback, something along those lines. And so if they were to commit in a relatively bad running back class in the draft go after a free agent, which this is a pretty decent running back free agency. That like I could see them doing that to establish the run game based on their coaching hires. It looks like they do want to focus more on the run game this year. So I would absolutely be all in on a Kenneth Walker, have him be the 1A, with the Jordan Mason be the 1B, and Aaron Jones being a cut, saving us roughly $7 million or so by cutting Aaron Jones. I would be all for that. Typically, you don't want to do that with running backs because it's seen as a little bit more of a luxury pick. But for all intents and purposes, our roster outside of quarterback is pretty well set. We just need a more consistent running game to go along with whatever quarterback is starting and some improvement from that running back. And they're back to being a playoff team. I mean, they were one game out of the playoffs this year. So I could see them trying to make that sort of a splurge, if you will, this year. Sorry, splurge, Olympic Village stuff still in the mind, hog lines. But
hog lining it up, baby.
But yeah, I would be all for it. But that kind of jumps into what I kind of prefaced here earlier. Patrick Mahomes did get a restructure done with the Chiefs. Takes his cap hit from 78 mil down to 34.6 mil, basically creating $43 million in cap space for the team in one simple move. I do want to, and I'm pretty sure we've said this in previous episodes, a restructure with a player does not require the player's consent. These restructures aren't them saying like, hey, we're going to offer you less money or something like that. That's not how it works. So obviously, you can go to a player and say, hey, we want to keep you here, but we need to cut your salary or something like that. Essentially a cut and re-sign for a new deal. That's not what's happening here. They are just shuffling which years he gets the money. And by them shuffling which years he gets the money on their books, he just gets the money up front. Like that money is becoming essentially guaranteed to him. So it's not Patrick Mahomes being a good guy to help out his team. It is helping his team, but it's also helping him. Restructures are usually good for both parties in the long run. So a lot of people are out there saying this is why Patrick Mahomes is one of the best and blah, blah, blah.
He didn't take a fucking reduction in salary.
Yeah, I'm not trying to denigrate Patrick Mahomes. I'm just saying it's not like he did anything here to help his team. That's not how restructures work. He's getting the same amount of money. If anything, he's just getting it guaranteed and getting it earlier. If anything, it's just not being accounted for by the league until later years. So obviously this was a known move that Kansas City was going to do. They weren't going to be paying him $78 million in 1 year, especially when they have a whole lot of holes to fill. And they were one of the worst teams in the league as far as their cap space going into this offseason.
And that team's still going to be very in flux. We talked about the potential of Tyreek Hill going back. They're going to have a lot of movement this offseason. Chiefs missing the playoff is kind of surprising to a lot of people. They're getting older, obviously, yes. Travis Kelce is on his last leg. I'm surprised we haven't heard an announcement yet, honestly. But maybe he'll run it back for one more.
Yeah, if Tyreek goes in there, they might need that receiving help. They already needed it, but they might need it more because Rashee Rice is out here getting sued by his ex-girlfriend for potentially choking, strangling, scratching, and hitting, headbutting, all sorts of abuse that she's levying against him. And we know the NFL doesn't really care about the legal process too much. It's more about the optics, and he could be looking down the barrel of another suspension if this gets taken care of pretty quick. So they need that help. Tyreek would make some sense there if he comes back healthy. And yeah, the Chiefs have a lot of holes, a lot more holes than I think people realize that they have to fill.
Yeah, well, the defense is still good, but they could use some help at the running back spot. At fucking time, I mean, they need weapons. Is the problem? That team went from like having just a plethora of talent to none very fast. It felt like.
Yeah.
But in terms of other news, we got Browns hiring for my team, the Browns are hiring a new defensive coordinator. And I don't know fucking dick and shit about him. Rutenberg, they call him Rudy. He was the passing game coordinator down there in Atlanta. So, trade him for Kevin Stefanski sounds like a great deal to me. I know that their secondary was pretty good. Xavier Watts was fantastic as a rookie. Outside of that, from everything that I've read, says that he's going to run the same kind of shit that Schwartz ran. We're not changing schemes. We're not doing anything. He's going to just kind of step in, maybe adjust some fronts, maybe change a little bit of things on the back end in terms of like combo coverages. But I mean, Atlanta ran a lot of cover one as well. So I think that good hire. I don't know much about him. I don't have to change my fucking entire defensive scheme. I like it.
Yeah. Look, you obviously have a strong connection with Atlanta fans. I'm sure you can probably reach out to some of them. Atlanta fans out there who watch this at any point in time, let us know what you think of Rudy or Rudenberg, whatever his name is. And how well is he going to support Mike's Cleveland Browns on the defensive side of the ball?
Hopefully really well, man. I mean, it would be super cool if we were good again. Like, I had like a very small window of when the Browns were good. It doesn't come around very often. Yeah. Could use another dose of that right now. I'm not gonna lie to you.
For sure.
But all right, man. What else we got?
Yeah, not a ton else when it comes to the football world. Little stories here and there. Anthony Richardson looks like he's prime candidate to be traded at this point, with the expectation that Daniel Jones is going to be franchise tagged.
So who the fuck is trading for Anthony Richardson? And what are you giving up? A conditional 7th?
It could be a conditional pick. I think his ceiling is probably closer to a 5th round pick at this point. And he's going to go to a team that has a established quarterback where he can kind of sit behind and develop a little bit. Again, everyone's going to be looking for the former top 5, 6, 7 overall pick, 1st round guy that didn't develop and that you might be able to get something out of, when they're in year 6 or 7. You fucking stop this shit. But they're going to be looking for that guy. Obviously, he's very physically talented. Mechanics are wonky and things like that. So someone might look at him and say, like, hey, this is our diamond in the rough. We don't have to devote a lot to our current quarterback because they're an established starter and we can develop him otherwise. It's kind of like a freebie flyer pick for Anthony Richardson, but I kind of expect that he will get moved at some point in time because they saw good things from their other backup there and obviously Daniel Jones, this year. So it's might as well move him while you can and get something for him. Other news, as expected, the Seahawks are currently up for sale. The estate of Paul Allen is got the team on the market now. I believe it was part of his will.
Million?
Yeah, I'm not sure how much. I think they're expected it to go around that much. But I believe it was part of his last will and testament that the team would be basically handed down and that he wanted it to be sold. And the proceeds, I think, are going to a good cause. Like not all of it, but I believe that a big thing that he wanted the final purchase or the final sale, a huge part of that to go to charitable organizations or something like that.
That's awesome. Listen, if he gives 1% of $8 billion, that's a fuckload of money to give to charity. Yeah. So whatever he gives, great.
Yeah. I'm reading the actual note that came out from Seattle here. The state of Paul G. Allen today announced that it has commenced a formal sale process for the Seattle Seahawks NFL franchise, consistent with Allen's directive to eventually sell his sports holdings and direct all estate proceeds to go to philanthropy.
Damn, so that's $8 billion going to philanthropy.
Yeah.
Whoo, good man. Like, wait, that's a way to leave a mark because, like, at this, like, when you own an NFL team, when you have amassed enough wealth to own an NFL team, what are you doing at this point? You're not working for money. You're just trying to leave a legacy. You're trying to have somebody remember you however many years from now, 100 years from now. So doing that, selling your team after your death and then having all of that go to philanthropy, that's a baller move. I don't know if he's got kids or other family members who are probably pissed if they are around, but honestly, fuck them. Like I think it's a really cool thing.
I don't
really
think that it would be 100% towards philanthropy if the family wasn't set up good to go.
Yeah, probably not. But.
And it's proceeds, so I don't know how that exactly works. They could say this was what the team was valued at when we got it, and so everything on top
what
of
was the
that,
team
or
valued at when he bought it? It was probably fucking 200 million.
who knows? Either way, I'll take 200 million.
Yeah, 200 million out of 8 billion to drop in the fucking bucket. Like,
yeah, for
so,
sure.
But
yeah. Other sporting news: NBA All-Star MVP goes to my guy Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Happy to see that. Originally, I believe, wasn't even part of the NBA All-Star team. Kind of got added a little bit later, but that was a sham. But
get rid of the All-Star games. Get rid of the All-Star games. They're fucking terrible. They're all bad. Like Major League Baseball is the only one that should stay. Everything else can fucking go. The Pro Bowl sucks. The NBA All-Star Weekend sucks. This is the worst dunk contest I've ever fucking seen. One dude about knocked himself out. Like I just fuck. All-Star Weekend sucks. Pro Bowl sucks. They got to figure it out. The league's got to figure something else out.
Everything sucks.
Everything sucks. The home run derby is exceptional. The greatest like sports spectacle, like singular thing. Well, maybe sport. Man, no, that's probably got to be March Madness. That's the greatest sports spectacle. Like when you that many teams. I mean, we're just getting off on a tangent here, but
yeah. And last little bit of news, other than Rich Bisaccia stepping down as a special teams coordinator there for the Packers. We had the Mexico City game announced. San Francisco 49ers will be playing down there in Mexico City, and also having a regular season game in Melbourne, Australia. They are going
Australia game, right?
Yes, I believe so. They're going to be traveling an estimated 38.1 thousand miles round trip this upcoming NFL season. I believe easily the most by a team ever in NFL history. Getting the raw end of the stick there.
Well, I mean, they'll be very far away from the power substation.
That's true, which is still being investigated. And I think that they probably are looking at moving that practice field. Look, the next closest team, as far as how far they have to travel, is the LA Rams. They're traveling less than half of that distance, 15,738 miles. And they are also one of the teams going to Australia. So it's bad for San Fran.
Remember that when you're picking your when you're going through and picking every game, San Francisco's got to travel a fuckload.
Yeah, look, there's obviously ways around it. Teams have gotten really used to traveling in Europe, but they are traveling not like just once over to Europe and back. They are going all over the globe, a shitload. It creates family issues. It's sleep issues, training issues. Shanahan's a really good coach, and they'll probably find a way to try to mitigate this as much as possible. But it's not something that I think any NFL franchise probably threw their hand up and said, "Yeah, we want to do this." It'll be a bit of a rough slate for them.
Yeah, they might have a little bit of a down year next year. Obviously, injuries will be the talk of the town with the 49ers for quite some time until the power substation thing is figured out. But my man, have we got anything else to go over with the people before we get the fuck out of here?
No, not really. Look, I mean, we try to keep everyone updated as much as possible on the socials with different things that are going on in between our shows here. The shows will be somewhat sporadic here or there, but we will try to keep everyone updated with stuff in between our shows. So feel free to check us out there and interact with us on the social media platforms, TikTok, Facebook, X, everywhere. But other than that, we've got Michael Jordan winning a NASCAR race finally with his team. And not a whole lot else to go over before we get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, Michael Jordan did get a win at the Daytona 500. I don't think he was doing anything weird with the kid. Champagne was sprayed everywhere. There was ice. Not everybody is a PDF file. Just everybody in our government. But with that, I think we can get the fuck out of here. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Time is the most valuable thing that you have. Anytime that you give some of us yours, we are forever grateful. With that, I'm going to give Evo one last word, and then we're going to get the fuck out of here. And the next time I see you guys will be sometime next week. We're not sure of the date, probably Tuesday. But I'll be in Indy from the Combine. Evo, go ahead, take it away, man.
Yeah. One last parting shot to the Minnesota Twins, my former baseball franchise, who announced they're going to be selling some $2 beers on Fridays and Saturdays from the time that the gates open to the first pitch. Sell the franchise. Fuck. Sell the team. Pieces of shit. No one gives a fuck about your free beer. Think that we're just all stupid enough in Minnesota to fucking have leering centers and stuff like that? Nah. That's not how the Minnesota's doing. You're not going to slip one over on us, fucking Twins. Sell the franchise.
Leering centers, $2 beers, Minnesota. What a great way to end the show. Guys, thank you very much. I am Mike. That is Evo. This is Raw Dog Sports. We'll see you guys next week. Go!